operating systems worldwide. Then we will talk about a few basic commands in Linux, and then we will discuss the most frequently used commands while working in DevOps. We will also cover a bit of shell scripting, that is the basic part. And finally, we will end this session by discussing about get commands. I hope I'm clear with the agenda, guys. Just a reminder, in case you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe and also click on the bell icon so that you never miss a video from Edureka. So let's not waste any time and straight away start with our first topic, that is what is Linux. Okay, so Linux is an open source and a community developed operating systems for computers, servers, mainframes, mobile devices, and embedded devices. It is supported on almost every major computer platform, including x86, ARM, etc., making it one of the most widely supported operating systems. Linux was designed to be similar to Unix, but has evolved to run on a wide variety of hardware from phones to supercomputers. Every Linux-based OS involves the Linux kernel, which manages the hardware resources and a set of software packages that make up the rest of the operating system. The OS includes some common core components like the GNU tools, among others. These tools give the user a way to manage the resources provided by the kernel, install additional software, configure performance and security settings, and so on. All of these tools bundled together make up the functional OS. Because Linux is an open source OS, combinations of software can vary between Linux distributions. So this was about the Linux OS in a nutshell. The next part of our discussion is why Linux is one of the most preferred operating systems worldwide. Linux is different from other operating systems in many important aspects. First, and perhaps most importantly, Linux is free. You do not have to pay any amount to download and use it, unlike Windows. Linux is an open source software. The code used to create Linux is free and available to the public to view, edit, and for the users with appropriate skills to contribute to. Once you have Linux installed on your system, you no longer need an antivirus. Linux is a highly secure system. Moreover, there is a global development community constantly looking at ways to enhance its security. With each upgrade, the OS becomes more secure and robust. Linux provides high stability. That is, it does not need to be rebooted after a short period of time. Your Linux system rarely slows down or freezes. As in Windows, you need to reboot your system after installing or uninstalling an application or updating your software. But this is not the case with Linux. You can work without any disturbance on your Linux systems. Linux provides high performance on various networks and workstations. It allows a large number of users to work simultaneously and handles them efficiently. So these were a few advantages of using Linux operating system. Okay, so moving on to the next topic. First, we will have a look at the Linux commands that are very basic. Like even if you're not working in DevOps, if you're someone who's using the Linux-based operating system, you must be knowing these commands. These are the frequently used commands, like while you're working in DevOps. Okay, I'm just showing you the list. Then we will practically see how to use these commands on the command prompt. So these are the few commands. I've tried to cover maximum number of commands so that you're comfortable working with DevOps. So now let us try to execute these commands in a Linux-based system. So in my system, I've installed Ubuntu operating system. So let us start with the basic commands in Linux. So the first command that you must know is the man command. Man stands for manual. Like if you want to know about any command in Linux, you can just type man space the name of the command. Say for example, you have to know about ls, say for example. Just type man space ls. So ls is a command. We'll talk about it later. So just press enter. Okay. So here it shows the name of the command, its syntax, and the description. Like if you want to know what it is and what it does, so you can use man command for it. So the next command that you should know is the clear command. If you want to clear your terminal, just type clear and press enter. So this clears your terminal. So the next command that you must know is, say for example, if you want to know where is your current working directory. For that, there is a command called pwd, that is present working directory. Simply type pwd and press enter. Okay, so here it says home Edureka. So this is my current working directory. And if you want to change your directory, for that there's a command called cd, that is change directory. Suppose from home Edureka, you have to switch your working directory to home. So simply type home. Okay. So if I now type pwd, it says home. So this was another basic command. So the next command is echo command. Say if you want to type anything, like if you want to print anything on the terminal, so you can use echo command for that. Say for example, echo hello world. So I have to print these two words on the terminal. For that, I'll use the echo command. Okay, so it says hello world. Pretty simple. So the next command is su command. Let's see first who is the current user. For that, there's one more command called who am I. Okay, so here it says Edureka. So Edureka is the current user of this system, the Linux system. So if you want to switch to the root user who has all the permissions, as of now, the Edureka, he's not a super user. He doesn't have any permissions related to file operations or any other operations. So root is a user, the basic user. He has all the permissions on this Linux OS. So if you want to switch to the root user, so simply type su, press enter. It will ask for a password. Type the password. So here it says authentication failure. So there's one more command, bash sudo bash. Okay. So before it was Edureka here, and now it is root here. So if I type who am I, so here it says root. Okay. So in case if this doesn't work, su doesn't work for any reason, so you can use this command called sudo bash. So it switches to the root user. And if you want to switch back to Edureka, simply type su and the username. Okay, so you're back to the Edureka user. Okay, these are very basic commands, guys, but you must be knowing this. So the next command is the sudo command. So sudo command is for user who doesn't have a proper permissions or privileges for executing some commands or operations. So in that case, you have to use a sudo command. So say for example, adding a user, deleting a user, adding a group, and many other commands that we will see in the upcoming commands. So I'll just give you a few examples here of sudo. For example, you have to add a user. So adding a user, deleting a user, that is mostly done by the root user. So he has all the permissions to add a user and all. So say for example, if you have to add a user, so the command for that is sudo user add and the name of the user. Say for example, Arvind. Oh, it says Arvind already exists. So type Arvind11. So it has created a user. And say for example, if you have to add a password to this user, so the command for that is sudo passwd and the username. So it will ask for a password that you need to set. You can type whatever you want, retype it. So it has created a user and it has also added a password for that user. So say for example, you have to delete this user. So the command for that is sudo user delete user del and the username Arvind11. Okay, so the user has been deleted. Say for example, you have to add a group. A group can have multiple users. Okay, so you have to add a group to the system. So the command for that is sudo group add and the group name. So you can say the group name as techies. Okay, so the group has been added. Similarly, if you want to remove this group, sudo group del and the group name. Okay, pretty simple. So let me just clear my terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the touch command. So the touch command is used to create any file on your system. Say for example, I have to create a file, a text file. You can give whatever name, abccba.txt. Oh, it says permission denied. Okay, so here we are going to use the command sudo. So it has created a file called cba.txt. And how can we see that? Simply type ls. Can you see here the file that we have just created, the cba.txt. So this is the use of the touch command to create a file. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the text editor command. Say for example, vi, nano, vim, gedit, and so on. So the vi editor is the most popular and a classic text editor in the Linux family. So to use it, say for example, you have to write something into that file. So for that purpose, you will use sudo vi and the name of the file cba.txt. Okay, so press enter. The file has been opened now, and press I to insert anything into this. Say for example, hi, this is Edureka. So to save this file, simply press escape colon W for write and Q to quit. So our file has been saved. So there's one more command called cat command. So this command can read, modify, or concatenate text files. So this command is also used to display the contents of the file. So say for example, I've written something into this file called cba.txt. Now I have to display the contents of this file. So what I'll do is cat and file name cba.txt. So here, this was the line that I had written in this file cba.txt. So the cat command can be used for that. So there are also other flags that can be used with this command. Say for example, -b. So the command would be cat -b and the file name. So this is used to add line numbers to the non-blank lines. So the next flag is -n, that is cat -n. So this command is used to add line numbers to all the lines that are present in the file. Cat-s is used to squeeze blank lines into one lines. And cat-E, it shows the $sign at the end of the line. So these were a few flags that you can use with cat command. So let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the copy command. This command is used to copy files and directories. A copy of the file directory still remains in the working directory. So let me just show you how do you use this command. So it is very simple. Copy. So say for example, cba.txt. I have to copy this file to the location. Say for example, home Edureka. Right now we are at the home location. I have to copy this file to this location, home Edureka. Okay. So the command is very simple. Cp file name and the destination name. So press enter. So let us now see whether the file has been copied there. So for that, we'll have to switch to that location. cd Edureka. So let us use the ls command. Okay, so here you can see the cba.txt file has been copied. So this was a very simple command. And there are a few flags that you can use along with this command. So there's a flag called -n, that is cp-n and the file name. So this does not overwrite the file. The next flag is the -u, that is cp-u. So this command updates the destination file only when the source file is different from the destination file. There's one more flag called -R, that is cp-R. So this command is a recursive copy for copying directories, and this command even copies the hidden files. So these were a few flags that you can use with the copy command. So the next command is the move command or the mv command. So this command moves the files and the directories from one directory to the another. The file or the directory once moved is deleted from the working directory. So this was not the case with the copy command. So I hope you get the difference between copy and move. So let us see what is the syntax for this. So the syntax is mv, the flag name, like if there are any flags here, the file name, and the destination name. Okay, the path to the destination. So let us just say, first we'll have a look at the files that are present here. Okay, so demo.txt. Can you see this file here? So we'll try to move this file to the home folder. So the command is very simple, mv, the file name, demo.txt. It says permission denied, so just simply use sudo. Okay, the file has been moved. Let us now verify this. cd. Okay, so we are here at the home folder. Simply use ls command. So as you can see here, demo.txt has been moved. So this was a very simple command and easy to use command. There are three flags that are associated with this command. mv-i. So this command enters into an interactive mode and the command line asks before overwriting the files. So the command mv-u updates the destination file only when the source file is different from the destination file. And the third flag is the mv-v. So this command enters the verbose mode, and this command prints the source and the destination file. So for those who are not aware of what verbose mode is, so verbose mode provides additional details as to what drivers and softwares it is loading during the startup. So this was all about the move command. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the rm command. So this command removes files from a directory. By default, the rm command does not remove directories. Once removed, the contents of the file cannot be recovered. So the syntax for this is very simple: rm, the flag name, and the file name. That's a very simple command and easy to use command. So I'll just show you how to use this. Say for example, I have to remove this file demo.txt. So simply I'll type rm in the file name demo.txt. Oh, it says permission denied. So the file has been removed, and let us just verify this. Okay, so we cannot see anywhere the demo.txt file, so it has been removed. So this was a very simple command, rm. So there are two flags that can be used along with this command. The first flag is the rm-r. So this command removes even the non-empty directories, and the other flag is rm-rp. So this command removes the non-empty directories, including the parents and the subdirectories. So this was the rm command. So the next command that we're going to talk about is the mkdir command. So if you want to create a new directory, then this command can be used. It's a very simple command, and the syntax is even more simple. So if you have to create a directory, simply type mkdir and the directory name. So say for example, in home, I have to create a directory called techies. It says permission denied, no issues. So the directory has been created. Let us just verify this. So as you can see here, this directory has been created here at this location, the home folder. So the flag that can be used with this command is -p, that is mkdir-p. So this command creates both a parent directory and a subdirectory. And if you want to create multiple files into a directory, you can use the command mkdir-p and the file names. So this command will create multiple subdirectories inside the new parent directory. So let me just clear the terminal. The next command is the rmdir command, or the remove directory command. So this command is used to remove a specified directory. Although by default it can remove only an empty directory, there are flags which can be deployed to delete the non-empty directories as well. And the syntax for this command is very simple. Simply type rmdir, the flag name, and the directory name. Okay, so very simple. Let us just see how do you remove a directory, rmdir. So let us just remove the directory that we created in the previous command, rmdir, and the name was techies. Sudo rmdir techies. Okay, so the directory has been removed. Let's just verify this. So there's no directory called techies here, as it has been removed by the rmdir command. So there are a couple of flags that you can use with this command. The first flag is -p, that is rmdir-p. So this command removes both the parent and the child directory. There's one more flag called -pv. So the command is rmdir-pv. So this command removes all the parent and the subdirectories along with the verbose. So I hope you're clear with this command, rmdir. So the next command that we are going to discuss is the grep command. So this command is used to search for a particular string or a word in a text file. So this command is similar to Control F, but this is executed via a command line. So let me just show you how do you use this command. So let us say, for example, let me have a text file here. So the syntax for using this command is very simple. So say, for example, we have a file here called grep test, as you can see here, this one. So let me just see the contents of this file using cat command, grep test.txt. So this file has these words: dog, apple, ball, cat, mouse. So say for example, I have to search the word cat in this file. So for that, I'll use the command grep the word cat and the file name grep test.txt. Okay, so as you can see here, the word cat has been highlighted just because it is present in this file. So say for example, we want to search for a word that is not present here. So say for example, cat1 or any other word. So say for example, mad. Okay, so it is not showing anything. That means that this word is not present in this file. So this was a very simple command, grep. And there are a few flags that you can use with this command. So say for example, grep hyphen I, and obviously the file name. So this command will return the results for case insensitive strings. So there's one more flag called -n, that is grep-n. So this command returns the matching strings along with their line numbers. The next flag is the grep-v. So this command returns the results of lines not matching the search string. Next flag is grep-c. So this command returns the number of lines in which the results match the search string. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the sort command. So this command sorts the results of a search either alphabetically or numerically. Files, file contents, and directories can be sorted using this command. The syntax for this command is very simple. Let me just see the files that are present here. So there's a file called sort test. So let me just see the contents of this file, sort test.txt. Okay, these are the words that are present in this file. So I have to just sort these words. Okay, so the command for that is sort the file name, sort test.txt. So as you can see here, these words have been sorted alphabetically: B, D, F, M, S, and T. So this is the use of sort command. And there are a few flags that you can use with this command. Like the first flag is sort -r and the file name, obviously. So this command returns the results in reverse order. So there's one more flag called -f. So this command does the case insensitive sorting. So whether you have uppercase words or alphabets or whatever in your file, so irrespective of the case, this command will sort the file. And there's one more flag called sort-n. So this command returns the results as per the numerical order. So say for example, you have numbers in this file, and if you want to sort them numerically, like ascending order, that can be done using the command -n. So this was pretty much about the sort command. So let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the chown command. So different users in the OS have ownerships and the permissions to ensure that the files are secure and put restrictions on who can modify the contents of the file. In Linux, there are different users who can use the system. So each user has some properties associated with them, such as the user ID and a home directory. We can add users into a group to make the process of managing the users easier. A group can have 0 or more users. A specified user can be associated with a default group. It can also be a member of other groups on the systems as well. So if you talk about the ownerships and the permissions, so to protect and secure the files and directories in Linux, we use permissions to control what a user can do with a file or a directory. So in Linux, there are three types of permission: the read permission, the write permission, and the execute permission. So the read permission allows the user to read files and directories. It lets the user read directories and subdirectories stored in it. The write permission allows the user to modify and delete a file. Also, it allows a user to modify its contents for the directories. So unless the execute permission is not given to directories, changes do not affect them. The third permission is the execute permission. So the write permission on a file allows it to get executed. For example, if we have a file named php.sh, so unless we don't give it an execute permission, it won't be run. So these were the permissions. Types of file permissions in Linux, there are three types. The first one is the user. So these type of file permission affect the owner of the file. The second one is the group. This type of file permission affects the group which owns the file. So instead of the group permissions, the user permissions will apply if the owner user is in this group. The third permission is the other permission. So these type of file permission affect all the users on the systems. So to view these permissions, so let us just say we use a command ls-l. So this command will list down all the files and the directories that are present here along with their permissions. So as you can see here, these are the permissions, these are the users, the groups, and the timestamp, and these are the names of the file. To use this command, so say for example, there's this file called abc.txt whose user is edureka. Okay, so you have to use this command chown. So the syntax for that is pretty simple. Chown, the owner name, the owner that you want to change. So say for example, root, and the file name. So file name is abc.txt. Operation not permitted. Sudo. Let me just try sudo. Okay, so this works when you use sudo. So let us now just run the command ls-l to see the permissions of this file. So as you can see here, it was first edureka. Now let us see the changed owner. Okay, so previously it was edureka and now it is root. Okay, so this is how you use the chown command. So just to summarize, the chown command is used to change the owner and the group of the file. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the chmod command. So this command is used to change the access permissions of files and directories. So the syntax for this command is pretty much simple. So say for example, if you want to change the permissions and the privileges of a file. So for that, let us just see the list of files that is present here and the permissions. So say for example, this file bac.txt, it has these permissions. So we want to give all the permissions to all the users and the groups that want to use this file. So for that, let me type the command chmod 777. Okay, and the file name bac.txt. Okay, so let us again have a look at the permissions of this file. Okay, so as you can see here, previously these were the permissions: read, write, read, and read. And now it has changed to read, write, execute for the user, the group, and the others. Okay, so there are a few numbers that are associated with the permissions, like 0 means no permission at all, 1 means the execute permission, 2 means the write permission, and 4 means the read permission. So here we have used the command chmod 777. So 7 here means read, write, execute, all the three, 4, 2, and 1. So read, write, execute for the user, the second 7 is for the group, and the third 7 is for any other users or the groups. So this was the chmod command, and I hope you have understood this command. So let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the lsof command. So while working in Linux or Unix based system, there might be several files and folders which are being used. Some of them are visible and some of them are not visible. So lsof stands for list of open files. So this command provides a list of files that are open. Basically, it gives the information to find out the files which are opened by which process. So with one go, this command lists out all the open files in the output console. So the syntax for this command is pretty much simple. Let us just type lsof. So as you can see here, this is the list of open files, these many files. Okay, if you scroll, so here you observe there are details of which files are open, the process ID, the user associated with the process. FD stands for file descriptor. Size of the file altogether gives detailed information about the file opened by the command, the process ID, its user, and so on. So CWD here stands for current working directory. Okay. TXT stands for the text file, obviously. So say for example, if you want to know the list of all files opened by a particular user. So there are several users of a system and each user can have different requirements, and accordingly they use files and devices. So to find a list of files that are opened by a specific user, you can use the command, say for example, lsof -u and the username, say for example, edureka. So these are the lists of files that are opened by the user Edureka. Let me just clear the terminal. So then next command that we are going to talk about is the ID command. So the ID command in Linux is used to find out user and the group names and numeric IDs of the current user or any other user in the server. So this command is used to find out a few important things such as the username and the real user ID, find out the specific user's UID, show the UID and the groups associated with a user, list out all the groups a user belongs to, and display the security context of the current user. The syntax for this command is pretty much simple: ID, the flag, and the username. Okay, so there are a few flags that you can use with this command. The first flag is the -g. So the command would be ID -g and the username. So this command prints only the effective group IDs, whereas ID-G prints all the group IDs. ID-N prints the names instead of numbers, and ID-R prints real IDs instead of numbers. ID-U prints only the effective user ID. ID-help displays the help messages. ID-version displays the version information. So without any option, it prints every set of identified information, that is the numeric IDs. So what you need to do here is simply type ID and press enter. So as you can see here, it displays the UID for this user Edureka, the group ID, and the group that he belongs to, and the respective group IDs as well. So say for example, if you want to know the user ID for this user called Edureka, ID-U, Edureka. So 1000, as you can see here, user ID is 1000 and group ID is also 1000. Let me just verify this. The command for that is ID-G. Okay, 1000, as you can see here. So to find out all the UIDs and the groups associated with the user, so say for example, there's another user called Arvind. So ID Arvind. So as you can see here, the outputs, user ID, group ID, and the groups that he belongs to. So this was about the ID command. So the next command that we're going to talk about is the tar command. So the tar command is used to zip and unzip files of the .tar format. So let me just show you the syntax for this file. So say for example, if you want to zip a folder, so for that, the command is tar -cvf space file name and the folder name, source folder name. So this was a very easy syntax for the tar command. And say for example, if you want to unzip a file, so in DevOps, while installing something, you might be getting a file in the .tar format. While unzipping that file, you can use this command tar-xvf and the tar file name. So you can use this command to unzip a file. So this was about the tar command. The next command that we are going to talk about is the cut command. So cut command is used for extracting a portion of a file using columns and delimiters. So say for example, if you want to list everything in a selected column, then in this case, you need to use the -c flag with the cut command. So say for example, let me just see here. So there's this file called So let me just show you how do you use this command. So let us first see what are the files present here. So say for example, this file demo1.txt. Okay, so this file has these lines A11, B22 and C33. So say for example, if you want to display only two columns like A1, B2 and C3 from this file, so using cut command we can do it. So the syntax for doing that is very simple: cut -c1 -2 space the file name. So the file name is demo1.txt. So -c here stands for the column, and which columns? 1 and 2 column. Okay, so just press enter. Okay, as you can see here, it will display these two columns. So say for example, you want only one column. and not the two columns. So just remove this 2 hyphen C1. Press enter. So you can see here A, B, C, only the first column is displayed. Okay. So this was about the cut command. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the SED, that is sed command. So sed is a text editor which can perform editing operations in a non-interactive way. So sed command gets its input from a standard input or a file to perform the editing operations on a file. So sed is a very powerful utility and you can do a lot of file manipulations using sed. So say for example, if you want to replace a text in a file by searching it in a file, you can use the sed command with the substitute s flag, small s, to search for the specific pattern and change it. So say for example, let me just show you an example here. There's this file called demo. So sed test. Okay. So cat, let me just see the content, this file, sed test dot txt. Okay. So here it says, how are you, Baban? So say for example, I have to replace this Baban by any other name. So I can use the sed command here, sed space single quote s, that is the flag that you can use with this command. So the word that you want to replace and the new word, Chagan. Okay. And the name of the file, obviously, sedtest dot txt. So as you can see here, first it was how are you, Baban, and now it is how are you, Chagan. So this was the command sed. I hope you have understood this command. We just clear the terminal. Okay, so the next command that we are going to talk about is the unique command. So unique command is used for filtering out the duplicate lines in a files. So the syntax for this command is pretty much simple. So say for example, you have to remove all the duplicate lines from a file. So you can use this command unique and the file name. So this was a very easy command. The next command that we are going to talk about is the watch command. So watch command in Linux is used to execute a program periodically showing output in full screen. This command will run a specified command in the argument repeatedly by showing its outputs and errors. By default, the specified command will run every 2 seconds and watch will run until interrupted. So the syntax for this command is very simple. You just have to type watch, the flag, and the command. Let me just show you an example using this. So there's this flag called -d that you can use with watch. So this parameter -d highlights the differences between the successive updates. The options will read the optional arguments, which changes the highlight to be permanent, and this allows the user to see what has changed at least once since the first iteration. So let me just type -d, watch -d free -m. Free command we have used. We'll see what free command is in the later part of this session. So the next command that we're going to talk about is the eval command. So eval is a built-in Linux command which is used to execute arguments as a shell command. So it combines arguments into a single string and uses it as an input to the shell and execute commands. So the syntax for this command is very simple, eval and the arguments. So let me just show you an example of eval command here. So say for example, you have to type eval hyphen hyphen help. Eval hyphen hyphen help. This command shows the description of the eval command itself. So as you can see here. So let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the history command. History command is used to view the previously executed commands. This feature was not available in the Bourne shell. Bash and Corn shell support this feature in which every command is executed and is treated as the event and is associated with an event number using which they can be recalled and changed if there's a requirement to do so. So these commands are saved in a history file. So in Bash, shell history command shows the whole list of commands. So say for example, just type history here, press enter. So this is the list of commands I've used till now. 400, 500 plus commands, I guess. Yeah, 584 commands I've used. So say for example, if you want to see only last 5 commands that I've used, history space 5, press enter. So these are the last 5 commands that you have used. You can see here. Let me just clear the terminal. Okay. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the dd command. So dd is a command line utility for Unix and Unix-like OS whose primary purpose is to convert and copy files. The command line syntax of dd differs from many other Unix programs in that it uses the syntax option equal to value. So this syntax option equal to value is used for its command line operations. So I'll show you just a practical example of this command. So say for example, you have to backup the entire hard disk. So to backup an entire copy of a hard disk to another hard disk connected to the same system, so this command dd can be used. In this command, the Unix device name of the source hard disk is, say for example, the source hard disk name is dev hda and the target hard disk name is dev hdb. So how do you use this command dd space if stands for input file space the name of the source hard disk. So it is dev space hda, and I just forgot to place equal to sign here. As discussed earlier, it has a syntax of option equal to value. So input file is this, the source file, and the output file OF is dev slash hdb. So as of now, we are not copying anything. So, but I'm just showing you how to use this command. So input file and output file should be mentioned very carefully. Just in case you mention source device in the target and the vice versa, you might lose all the data. I hope you have understood this command. Okay, so there's one more command that we talked about, like the free command. Okay, so the free command displays the total amount of free space available along with the amount of memory used and swap memory in the system, and also the buffers used by the kernel. The syntax for this command is very simple, free space or options, you can say. So let me just type free command here and press enter. So as you can see here, total installed memory that is present on the system. So used means the used memory and free means the unused memory. Shared displays the memory used by the temp folders. Buffered displays the memory used by the kernel buffers. And cached displays the memory used by the page cache and the slabs. And buffers slash cache displays the sum of the buffers and the cache. And there are a few flags or options that you can use with this command. That is -b. The command is free -b. So it displays the memory in bytes. If you use -k, this displays the amount of memory in kilobytes, which is by default. -m displays the amount of memory in megabytes. And -g, small g, displays the amount of memory in gigabytes. I hope you have understood this command, free. So let me just clear the terminal. Okay. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the SSH command. So while working in DevOps, you might frequently use this command, the SSH command. So SSH means that secure shell. Okay. So this command refers to a cryptographic network protocol for operating network services securely over an unsecured network. Typical use cases include remote command line execution, but any network service can be secured with the command SSH. So say for example, if you have a master node and the slave node. So if you are running this command, the command that I'm going to type now on the slave node, this will give you access to the master node. So the command for that is very simple, SSH and the master's IP address. So if you run this command on the slave machine, you can get access to the master machine. And vice versa, if you execute this command on the master machine along with the slave IP, you can get access to the slave machine. So there's one more command called SSH keygen. So this command is used to generate a public-private authentication key pair. So authentication keys allows a user to connect to a remote system without supplying the password. So keys must be generated for each user separately. So if you generate key pairs as the root user, only the root user can use those keys. So the syntax for creating pair of keys is very simple. So you need to type SSH -keygen space -t and RSA. press enter. Here you can press enter. It says it already exists, so I want it to overwrite. Press enter. Enter passphrase, empty for no passphrase. Enter passphrase, press enter, press enter. Okay, so the key has been generated, as you can see here. Hyphen T option here is used to specify the type of key that you have to create. So you have the option of specifying a passphrase to encrypt the private part of the key. So if you encrypt your personal key, you must supply the passphrase each time you use this key. So in this case, we have just pressed enter. We haven't pressed anything in the passphrase. So this prevents an attacker who has access to your private key and can impersonate you and access all the computers you have access to from being able to do so. So this was about the command SSH keygen. Let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the IP command. So the IP command in Linux is present in the net tools, which is used for performing several network administration tasks. IP simply stands for Internet Protocol. So this command is used to show manipulative routing, devices, and tunnels. It is similar to the ifconfig command. Okay, the next command that we are going to discuss is the ifconfig command. So ifconfig, that is interface configuration command, is used to configure the kernel resident network interfaces. It is used at the boot time to set up interfaces as necessary. After that, it is usually used when needed during debugging or when you need a system tuning. Also, this command is used to assign IP addresses and net mask to an interface or to enable or disable a given interface. So the syntax for this command is very simple: ifconfig space options or and space the interface. So there are two options that you can use with this command. That is ifconfig -a. So this option is used to display all the interfaces available even if they are down. So if you use this command ifconfig -a, okay, so you can see all the interfaces that are available. Okay, yeah, and there's one more command called -s. So if you type ifconfig -s, so this displays a short list instead of all the details. So this was about the ifconfig command. So let me just clear the terminal. Also, if you want to know the IP address of your machine, you simply need to type ifconfig, press enter. Okay. As you can see here, this is the IP address of your machine. So to know the IP address of your machine, you just need to use this command ifconfig. So let me just clear the terminal. The next command that we are going to talk about is the IP command. So IP command in Linux is present in the net tools, which is used for performing several network administration tasks. So IP stands for Internet Protocol. This command is used to show or manipulate routing, devices, and tunnels. It is similar to the ifconfig command, but it is much more powerful and more functions and facilities attached to it. ifconfig is one of the deprecated commands in the net tools of Linux that has not been maintained for many years. IP command is used to perform several tasks like assigning an address to a network interface or configuring network interface parameters and so on. So it can perform several other tasks like configuring and modifying the default and static routing, setting up a tunnel over an IP, listing IP addresses and property information, modifying the status of the interface, assigning, deleting, and setting up IP addresses and routes. So let me just show you a practical example of IP space address. Okay. So this command is used to show all the IP addresses associated on all network devices. So as you can see here, these are the various network devices and their IP addresses. Yeah, so there's one more command called IP space link. So this command is used to display link layer information. It will fetch characteristics of the link layer devices currently available. Any networking device which has a driver loaded can be classified as an available device. So IP-link, press enter. Okay. So this is the output. These are the available devices and the link layer information, as you can see here. So let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we're going to talk about is the netstat command. So netstat command displays various network related information such as network connections, routing tables, interface statistics, multicast memberships, and so on. So the syntax for this is very simple. For example, netstat and hyphen a. So as you can see here, if we use this command netstat hyphen a, so it is used to show both the listening and the non-listening ports that are available. So this command is used to show both the listening as well as the non-listening sockets. And there's one more command called netstat hyphen at. So this command will list all the TCP ports that are available. So as you can see here, these are the TCP ports. So this was about the netstat commands. So the next command is the nslookup command. So nslookup stands for name server lookup. This is a useful command for getting information from the DNS server. It is a network administration tool for querying the domain name system to obtain domain name or IP addresses, mapping, or any other specific DNS record. It is also used to troubleshoot DNS related problems. So the syntax for this is very simple. Simply type nslookup and the option. Let me just type nslookup, say for example, google.com. So it is giving you the details of this domain, google.com, the server, the address. So if we type this command like ns and the domain name, so this will display a record that is IP address of the domain, as you can see here. So this command queries the domain name servers to get all these details. So this was about the ns lookup command. Let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the curl or curl command, as you can see. So curl is a command line tool to transfer data to or from a server using any of the supported protocols such as HTTP, FTP, SCP, SMTP, and so on. So curl is powered by a libcurl. So this tool is preferred for automation since it is designed to work without any user interaction. So curl can be used to transfer multiple files at once. So the syntax for this command is very simple: curl hyphen space, I repeat, curl space options and the URL. So there's one parameter or the option that you can use with this is -o. So this parameter saves the downloaded file on the local machine with the name provided in the parameters. So this was about the curl or the curl command. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the awk command. So awk is a scripting language used for manipulating data and generating reports. The awk command programming language requires no compiling and allows the user to use variables, numeric functions, string functions, and logical operators. So awk is abbreviated from the names of the developers, that is Aho, Weinberger, and the Kernighan. So the syntax is pretty much simple. I'll show you how do you use it. So say for example, let me see the list of files that we have. Okay, so cat abc.txt. So let us just see the contents of this file abc.txt. Let's just see another file demo1.txt. Okay. Demo1.txt. Okay, so I'll just show you how do you use this command. So say for example, you want to print every line from a specified file. So we can use this command awk single quote curly braces. Okay, and the name of the file. So say for example awk test.txt. Okay, so this was the file. This has only 2 lines. Okay, so if you want to print every line from a file, so you can use this command awk. So say for example, I'm looking for a specific pattern in a file. So say for example, awk, I'm looking for the word. Okay, so let's consider this file itself in single quotes. I'm looking for RAM and I want to print it. And the file name awk test.txt. So it will print any of the lines that has this word RAM. Press enter. Okay, so these 2 lines have this word RAM, so it has printed both these lines. So this was another use of awk. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the tr command. So tr stands for translate. So this command in Unix is a command line utility for translating and deleting characters. It supports a range of transformations, including uppercase to lowercase, squeezing repeating characters, deleting specific characters, and basic find and replace. It can be used with Unix pipes to support more complex translations. Okay, so I'll just show you an example of the tr command. So say for example, this file called awk test. Okay, so let us just see the contents of this file. Now we'll try some other file, cba.txt. Okay, so let us just say we want to convert this into uppercase, everything into uppercase. Here we want to display this, hi, this is Edureka in uppercase. So for that we will use the command cat, the file name cba.txt and the pipe symbol tr space double quotes A to Z space and the capital A to Z. Okay, so this is the syntax for doing this. Press enter. As you can see here, everything has been converted to uppercase. So this is one of the usage of the tr command. So let me just clear the terminal. The next command that we are going to talk about is the env command. Env command is used to print environment variables. It is also used to run a utility or a command in a custom environment. In practice, env command has another common use. It is often used by shell scripts to launch a correct interpreter. In this usage, the environment is typically not changed. So say for example, I have to see a list of all the environment variables that are present on my system. So I'll simply type env and press enter. Okay. So these are the list of environment variables that are present. Say for example, if you want to run a command with an empty environment. So for that, the syntax is env hyphen I and the command. Okay. And say for example, if you want to remove a variable from the environment, so for that the syntax is env hyphen u and the variable name. Okay, so I hope you have understood this command env. Let me just clear the terminal. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the iptables command. Iptables is a command line interface used to set up and maintain tables for the NetFilter firewall for the IPv4, including the Linux kernel. The firewall matches packets with rules defined in these tables and then takes the specified action on a possible match. So I'm gonna tell you the usage of the iptables commands. So say for example, while working in DevOps, for some reason you need to disable the firewalls. So for that, this command iptables can be used. Say for example, service iptables stop. So this command can be used to disable the firewalls. Okay, so this was a one use of the command called IP tables. Okay, so as of now, we are not running this command on our system. So the next command that we are going to talk about is the apt-get command. So apt-get is a command line tool which helps in handling packages in Linux. Its main task is to retrieve the information and packages from the authenticated sources for installation, upgrade, and removal of packages along with their dependencies. So APT stands for Advanced Packaging Tool. So if you are using Ubuntu based systems, so here the command apt-get can be used. While if you're someone who's using the Red Hat based systems such as the CentOS, so in that case you need to use the command yum. Okay. So the syntax for this command is very simple, like apt-get, the options, or the flags, and the command. Okay, so say for example, I have to install something on my machine. So I'll use the command sudo apt-get install. Say for example, I want to install this image editor called Pinta. Okay, so I'll just type Pinta, sudo apt-get install and Pinta. Okay, so this was about the apt-get command. The next command is the df command and the disk usage command. The df or the disk free command reports the amount of available disk space being used by the file systems. The du or the disk usage command reports the size of directory trees inclusive of all their contents and the size of individual files. The aim is to make sure you are not overshooting the 80% threshold. If you exceed the threshold, it is time to scale or clean up the mess because you're running out of the resources. So the syntax to use this command, like if you want to see the disk free space in a human readable format, you can use the command df sudo df -h. Okay, so this is the disk free command that we are using, and we can see here the output, size, available size, used, available memory, percentages, and the mounted location. So, but in most cases, you want to check which part of your system is consuming lots of disk space. For the command for doing that is sudo du -h -d 1 and the var. So as you can see here, this location, it is consuming a lot of disk space. So this was about the df and the du command. So now let us talk a bit about shell scripting. So first and foremost question, what is a shell? So an operating system is made up of many components, out of which two are very prime components. And these components are the kernel and the shell. So a kernel is at the nucleus of a computer. It makes the communication between the hardware and the software possible. While the kernel is the innermost part of an operating system, a shell is the outermost one. A shell in a Linux OS takes input from you in the form of commands, processes it, and then gives an output. It is the interface through which a user works on the programs, commands, and scripts. A shell is accessed by a terminal which runs it. So whenever you run the terminal, the shell issues a command prompt where you can type your input, which is then executed when you hit the enter key. So the output or the result is thereafter displayed on the terminal. The shell wraps around the delicate interior of an operating system, thereby protecting it from accidental damage. Hence it is named as shell. So there are two types of shell basically, the Bourne shell and the C shell. So the prompt for the Bourne shell is shown by the dollar symbol, and its derivatives are POSIX, CON, and BASH. POSIX shell is also known as SH. CON shell is also known as SH, and the Bourne again shell is now known as BASH. And the BASH is the most popular shell. The second type of shell is the C shell, and the prompt for this shell is shown by the percentage sign. And there are two subcategories for this, that is the C shell, which is also known as CSH, and the top C shell, which is also known as TCSH. So now the question is, what is shell scripting? So shell scripting is writing a series of commands for the shell to execute. It can combine lengthy and repetitive sequences of commands into a single and a simple script which can be stored and executed anytime. So this reduces the effort required by the end user. So let us understand the various steps in creating a shell script. So what you do is, first you create a file using the VI editor or any other editor, and you name the script with an extension .sh. So we will also have a look at it, like we will execute a shell script, but I'll just tell you a few steps of how to do it. Then we have to start the script with the symbols such as hash, exclamation mark, and the /bin/sh. So hash exclamation is an operator called the shebang which directs the script to the interpreter location. So if we use the command hash exclamation mark /bin/sh, the script gets directed to the Bourne shell. Then once we open this file, we have to write some code, we have to save it, and for executing we have to just type the command bash and the file name .sh. I'll just show you how do you do it. Here I have the git terminal or the git bash opened here. So we have to type, say for example, abc.sh. We have to write something here. So what we'll do is, I have a simple program which calculates the sum of the digits of a number. It accepts a number from a user and it calculates the sum of its digits and it displays the result. So this is a very simple program. I'll just write it here. I'll just save it, wq. Okay, so it is saved, and now we have to just run this script using the command bash. Well, let me just check whether I've inserted. Okay, so we are missing out on a very important thing here. We have to type shebang operator. Okay, so hash exclamation /bin/sh. We have written whatever we wanted. Okay, so we have saved it, and now bash abc.sh. So it says enter a number 88. So the sum of digits of 88 is 16. So this is how you write a shell script and you run a shell script. So this was a very simple program, but you can write any program that you want and you can run it using the bash. So we have come to the final part of this session, that is the git commands. And before knowing the git commands, we'll quickly brush up a few things about git. What is git? So Git is a free open source distributed version control system tool designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. So Git has the functionality, performance, security, and flexibility that most teams and individual developers need. It also serves as an important distributed version control tool that is used in DevOps. Tools like Git enable the communication between the development and the operations team. So whenever you're developing a large project with a huge number of collaborators, it is very important to have communication between the collaborators while making changes in the project. Commit messages in Git play a very important role in communicating among the team. The bits and pieces that we all deploy lies in the version control system like Git. So to succeed in DevOps, you need to have all the communication in the version control, and hence Git plays a very vital role in succeeding at DevOps. So this was the definition of Git, and this is the diagram that you must remember, like the working directory, the staging area, the local repository, and the remote repository. You just need to remember these things. So if you remember these things, then you will get a clear understanding of what command is used to do what things. So now we will have a look at few of the git commands. Like as you can see here, we will cover a few commands, git config, git init, and so on, and few of these commands as well. Now let us go to the git bash. So the first command that we will see here is git config command. Okay, so this command sets the author name and the email address respectively to be used with your commits. So how do you do it? The syntax is pretty simple, like git config hyphen global user.name and the name, say for example Edureka. In my case, let's just say Arvind. Okay, this is the syntax that is used, hyphen global. Previously I just typed a single hyphen. There are two hyphens here. You have registered the username and now you have to register the email. So that is git config hyphen global user dot email and the email address, that is Arvind edureka.co. Okay, so this works fine. So the next command is the git init command. So this command is used to start a new repository. So this is a very simple command. Simply type git init. Like you can type the name of the repository if you want, else it will initialize an empty repository without any name. Okay, so here as you can see here on desktop, it has created a repository. .git repository has been created on the desktop with our command. So the next command is the git clone command. So this command is used to obtain a repository from an existing URL. Say for example, let me just show you. I'll clone a repository from my GitHub account. Okay, so say for example, this is the repository Game of Life, which is available on my GitHub account. To clone that URL, I'll have to first go to this tab, clone or download, click here, and then you'll get a link. Okay, copy that link, clone with HTTPS. Okay, copy that link and paste it here. Git clone and the repository, paste, press enter. Okay, so the repository is being cloned here, and it is still working, and it is done. Okay, so as you can see here, the Game of Life repository has been cloned. So this was a very easy command. Let me just clear the terminal. So the next command is the git add command. So this command adds a file to the staging area, and the command for that is very simple: git add and the file name. So this is the syntax for the add command. And suppose if you have more than one file to add to the staging area, you can simply use the star option. Okay, so it will add everything, like more than one file or multiple files. So this was about the git add command. The next command is the git commit command. So this command records or snapshots the file permanently in the version history. So the syntax for this command is git commit -m and any of the message that you want to type. Okay, so with each commit, you can type a message to notify. So this is the syntax for this command. Let's just say there's one more command called git commit -a. So there's one more flag with this command -a. So this command commits any files you have added with the git add command, and also commits any files you have changed since then. So this is the syntax for this command, git commit -a. Similarly, there's one more command, like as you have seen earlier in the Linux command, the rm command, git rm the file name. Okay, so this command deletes the file from your working directory and stages the deletion. This was very easy command, git rm. Similarly, there's one command called git show, and here you have to specify the commit ID. Okay, so this command shows the metadata and the content changes of the specified commit. So this was about the git show. The next command is the git remote command. So this command is used to connect your local repository to the remote server. So for that, the syntax is very simple. Say for example, git remote, add the variable name and the remote server link. This is the syntax to use the git remote. If you want to delete a branch on your remote repository, so how will you do it? So there's one command called git push origin, the remote server and the branch name. Say for example, B2 is the branch name. So the next command is the git pull command. So this command fetches and merges changes on the remote server to your working directory. So the syntax is pretty simple: git pull and the repository link. So this is a very simple command. The next command that we are going to talk about is the git branch command. This command lists all the local branches in your current repository, and its syntax is very simple: just git and branch. This is a very simple command. And if you want to create a new branch, so for that the command is git branch. Say for example, the new branch that you want to create, so git branch and branch name. And if you want to delete the feature branch, so for that the command is git branch -d and the branch name. say for example B1. So this was the usage of the get branch command. The next command is the get checkout. So this command is used to switch from one branch to another branch, and the syntax also is very simple: get checkout and the branch name where you want to switch. Okay, say for example B1 or B2 or even master. So this is one use of checkout. So if you want to create a new branch and you want to switch to that branch, so for that the syntax is get checkout -b and the branch name B4. So this command creates a branch and also switches to that branch. There's one more command called get merge. So what this command does is this command merges the specified branch history into the current branch, and the syntax for that is get merge and the branch name branch underscore name. So this is a very simple command like get merge and the branch name. There's one last command that we will have a look at, that is get rebase. So what this command does is this command will move all your work from your current branch to the master branch. They look like as if they are developed sequentially, but they are developed parallelly. So the syntax for rebase is get rebase and the branch name. So this was the syntax for get rebase. With this, we have come to the end of this session. I hope you have enjoyed this session. If you have any queries related to anything with respect to this presentation, you can post them in the comments box below, and we will try to get back to you as early as possible. Thank you so much.